Okay, we are recording.
So just to give everybody kind of just what this is going to be is just kind of, 50-yard view of just a quick overview of what Crexendo and Office Tools is going to do together. As we continue to perfect this system, we're going to add some more features, and we can talk about that in a little bit as well. But right now, we're going to go over what's already in effect and all the really cool features that it does for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I guess a good place to start would be at the top, right here on the contacts page. So what we're able to do from here is the click to dial. Now, I have my mobile phone set up, so let me go ahead and make sure my sound is on. So basically what we do is we just click that phone number. And now when we click that phone number, it's going to create a dialog box. And it's going to be a very loud ring, as you can hear. And basically what it's doing is it's creating this box down here at the bottom. Now from here, you are able to create a call. And what that's doing is it's, basically doing exactly that, creating a call right there in the calls tab, where you can now, as you're talking to this person, you can be typing your notes, things like that. You're also able to start a timer from here, which I love because it's going to plug in the contact automatically, as well as the work code. So we'll have this set up, some folks charge for their phone calls, some don't, but at least this gives you the option to just automatically tag it as such.
Awesome. And in addition to that, I'll just add a quick little thing in there. When JohnMichael had that screen popped up, one of the things to come is going to be a record button that will be next to that timer card. So the really good benefit with that is that call will always be saved in the storage. So you'd be able to go back and listen to the call. And today, Crexendo is already doing that in our portal. And the way you would do it through Crexendo is to hit a record button on your phone. But as a kind of more advanced feature, we'll be able to do it from Office Tools.
Yeah, and the great thing about that too is that it's going to be stored. That audio file is going to be stored and attached to the actual call itself. So it'll, and if you're an Office Tools user, you already know that this drag and drop box is internally integrated into the Documents tab. So we're going to set up a category specific for recorded phone calls. And that way that call can just automatically be attached to that call. It's great too, because if we relate this call to a project, let's say ABC Company, I'm calling them to discuss their IRS notice perhaps. We can attach those things. That way we've got a fully internally integrated organic system. When we go and we look at the project, we're able to find that call. When we go and look at the Documents tab, we're able to find that call, all those great things.
All right. So any questions so far about that? No? Kayla, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Now, one thing we're able to do as well, and I'm going to go ahead, let me see here if I can get this. I'm going to go ahead and call my own phone from my cell. That way we can see exactly what happens. Because when somebody calls in, this is the great thing too, is that when one of our known clients calls in, the system is going to prompt. It's going to get that same box to let us know that there's an inbound call. Now, if it's a recognized client, so let's say this ABC company is calling from their mobile device, it's going to go ahead and automatically tag that call, that dialog box, to that client. And then from there, we're able to start a timer, create a phone call, all those very same features that we were able to do before, but that's from an inbound call. And let me go ahead and do that real quick. Bear with me one sec. And we've also got a missed call feature here too, which we'll go over. All right, I'm gonna go.
Are you just leaving yourself a voicemail?
No, I'm calling myself in. I just put in my extension from my cell. So it should be calling me here in just a sec. So we should be able to get that dialog box as long as I didn't mess this up from my cell phone. Guys aren't always the best multitaskers.
So,
if not,
well, no, what's happening is, John Michael, you're calling into Office Tools and you were to go through an auto attendant to get to your own extension. That's probably why it took so long. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
So if you have a direct phone number, which Crexendo will provide for you, then if someone calls you directly and it just rings your extension, it would be a lot quicker. And additionally, a lot of people ask me the question is, what if you transfer a call? So if there's a receptionist that answers and they transfer the call to your extension, then the answer is yes, it will still screen pop that profile from Office Tools.
Right. Now, Niki, could you go over real quick, when somebody does call in, does every screen get that box? Does every member of the team get that box show up and then it disappears once somebody picks it up? What's that process look like, if you'd be so kind?
Yeah, so you guys are going to get to tell us how you want the phones provisioned, but if you have it ring all the extensions, so every phone will get an extension, and if you say ring all, or maybe you just ring a group of people, then whoever's in that group would screen pop theirs. So, and then John Michael added to the fact that once you take the call, then it will just be on your phone. So it will kind of go away off everybody else's.
Right. That's exactly right. Thank you so much, Niki. Now, so when I called in just now, I went ahead and hung up. That way we could see this missed call window. But you may have noticed that we do have all those same options to create a call, create a timer. But what I like about this here is that from this window, if there's a voicemail, we're able to see that there's a voicemail, and we're actually even able to listen to that voicemail right from this window. And then furthermore, when I come in, and the way to get to this missed calls window, if it's not already populated, there's an actual icon for it down here that'll pop open this box, and I can see, okay, these are all my missed calls, and then I can either click to dial this person back or create a call from it or dismiss it. Now, another really great thing about this too is when there's an unrecognized number. This might be one of my favorite things about this VoIP integration, is that if it's a number that the system doesn't recognize, you do have the option to add that to an existing contact. Kind of like from your cell phone, you have the option, if it's a number that's not already in your contact list, add it to an existing contact. Very similar feature. So let's say this person from ABC company calls in, and it's from his cell phone. Well, great. Now we have his cell phone number, so next time we're prepared for that call.
Good
right?
point. And so, additionally, yeah, I think when you call back, when you double click on the phone number, if you double click it, it will call out from the Crexendo phone. Plus, it will go away too. So what that means, when I mean by go away, is that call log, it will be stored, but it will also kind of go off that missed call to say, okay, you've already called them back.
Exactly.
And then one other little piece too, and Kayla, you've already noticed this, when John Michael clicked on the name or the phone number to call back, a really cool feature is that if you think about it, a lot of people might actually accidentally click on the phone number, not realizing that they're making a call. But what's really, really neat is Crexendo created this beep on your phone. So you would notice, Kayla, when you dialed out, your Crexendo phone would kind of give you like a beep notification, like it's ringing, so you better be on your headset or your phone. Because then you're butt dialing somebody.
That's right. Exactly.
There are beep call logs that you can see all the calls that went on and off of your phone that day.
Through the Crexendo portal, yes, you can, or the cloud rather. Yeah, you're able to. We use the Crexendo phones, obviously. I actually rely on mine pretty heavily with this click to dial feature, because we use Office tools and we use the Crexendo phones. So yeah, I can, and it's great too, because not only can I see all the inbound and outbound calls, I can check on my staff. I manage the sales department here at Office Tools. So I'm able to go in and I can see, not that I'm micromanaging or playing too much Big Brother, but I can look and see, are people making personal calls? Are people, taking calls when they should be taking calls, and all of those things. But yeah, we can do all of those things through the Crexendo.
Okay, if that's
what was that? I'm sorry.
And say you went and looked at a phone and it had, 20 different calls. It won't pull on the info from Office Tools, so you wouldn't really know who those numbers were for on the Crexendo site, would you?
Well, you would see,
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
So you would see on the Crexendo side all the inbound and outbound calls, but furthermore, Kayla, you're going to see here in Office Tools through that audit trail, through that call audit trail.
Yeah, I like that summary view, but I guess I want to know if there's a summary view for me so I can see who I talked to today.
Yeah, and I can send you a snapshot of what that would look like.
I guess I just want it to run through Office Tools too. Like, you know how when you go into time, or you can choose time for the worker or time across the contact. So I think it would be nice to have the same sort of thing for the calls, where I can see all the calls that I as a staff person have fielded or made today, like my own call log, kind of like I have on my phone.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that we could do kind of like in the future. So we'll talk about that with the engineers. But unless is JohnMichael, is there something I'm missing?
Yeah, now Kayla, you're talking about the actual call log within Office Tools. Who did you call today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at right here. This is the summary of all the calls, and this is, I've only got the one for today. But yeah, that's what this is right here. And this is me in particular as a staff member, but yeah, this is everything I've done today. Oh, but you're talking about on a global scale, not just ABC Company.
Well, you've got that Doug guy. What's Doug J? I can't see that, but
that's just another staff member.
Well, and I think that's what you're asking for, right, Kayla? You want to see, so Doug had a call with ABC Company and then a subject.
This is a personal thing. During tax season, I make them field a lot of calls, and sometimes I don't know. I want to go back and see who I talked to and make sure I kind of check off everything I had to do. Mm-hmm. So it would just be, I want to see who I contacted all day long.
Yeah, then this would be it. What if you hit detail up at the top right? What would that do?
Yeah, so Kayla, I think what you're, let me go ahead and jump in here, guys. So what you're looking for is a simple report. You're just going to run a staff activity report specific to yourself, and you're going to uncheck everything but the calls. So now this is JohnMichael, all the phone calls that I have made today.
Yes, there we go.
Looks like I had a missed call. Let me pause my screen.
Yeah, I was going to say, somebody was just calling you just now. Good timing.
Yeah, so here's that call. So any calls that I made today, one to Fair Food, one to ABC Company, this is what that is.
Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to know. If I could log, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, that is a good question. I'm glad that you brought it up.
Otherwise, these are all just the calls for this specific client.
Yeah, that's useful too. I just want
yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's jump over to the billing section because I really like that one. That one's my favorite. So when you start a timer, it's going to automatically populate that call, and then it goes into, is it correct? It goes into the billing section?
Yes. So again, a lot of it depends on how your system is set up itself. But yeah, when we start the timer, let me go ahead and shut off my watch here. When we start this timer, and Kayla, if you're using the system, you probably already know how this portion works. But what Niki's kind of driving at, and I love this too, is that, while you're on this phone call, and this is something that's saving a lot of offices a lot of time, is when you click you click the dial out, you've already got this timer, you create that time card, complete the call, no, let's leave it open. Then that time automatically goes to your timesheet there. And because my system is set up to know that I bill my phone calls, it's going to go over to the billing tab as billable time right there at the top.
Yeah, that's great.
And of course, you in your office, you determine what calls that you bill for or not. You can even have a non-chargeable work code specific to phone calls. So if you wanted to switch over the work code and say, you know what, I'm not going to bill for this call. We're going to track it as a phone call, but we're going to leave it non-chargeable so it doesn't show up as WIP. You know, that all of those things can be done through Office Tools.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. What other questions or what haven't we gone over? If you know what, there was one I actually wanted to ask you, JohnMichael, was when you had that call and you had that timer, there was a section that says notes. If you wouldn't mind just redoing that call again and type in the notes, because I wanted to know, where do those notes go? And I think that was another question somebody had. Yeah,
that's a great question. So those notes, they're going to go into a couple of different places. They can actually go on the notes of the call itself, but more often than not, what that's used for is on the actual time entry itself. So, and this is the way that this is used in a real life scenario is folks are going to, you know, while that timer is going, they're typing their notes, and it can be brief or it can be detailed, but this tells the biller the content of the call, so that that person can make the decision in a second to bill or not bill that call. Or bill some of it, you know, if I say half the time I put this person on hold and we were only at, you know, like those, it's really meant for whoever's billing this WIP to make an educated determination on whether or not they should bill for the entirety of the call or none of it or partial. That's kind of what those notes are designed for, is for the biller.
Okay, gotcha.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So when a call comes in and you have these options, you know, create a call or start a timer, if you start a timer, does it also log the call under calls, or do you have to do that separately?
If you start a timer, will it? Oh no, you're going to need to create the call as well. Is that what you're saying?
So
like
creating the call, creating the call creates the history. Is that what I understand?
Yes, creating the call creates the history, creates the audit trail. To actually initiate the timer, you will need to click Start Timer. Because not everybody uses timers. Some folks, what they'll do is they'll just check this off as completed and be prompted for a time card. It really just depends on your own inter-office procedures. Like me personally, I can't do timers. I'll forget they're going. My head is all over the place, and it doesn't allow for timers. But you know, some people, they really rely on those. So in the, you know, that's why we leave it as an option instead of automatically just starting a timer, because everybody's a little bit different.
Okay. I mean, I'm interested in logging the phone calls to make sure I know what I talked to the client about. So I'm thinking I would go to log the phone call and then create the timer, start a timer, or create a time card afterwards.
Yeah, you could definitely do that a lot. And that's actually probably most commonplace, is just creating the call. And then, you know, if you wanted to start a timer, you can do it from down here, or you can do it from up here. Or if you wanted to log it after the fact, kind of like you're talking about, you just check that thing off as completed, and then it's prompting you for a time card.
And I did not know that. I didn't know that you could check that little box completed. That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
You can do it from the activity list too. It'll do the same thing.
Great.
Yep.
All right. So is there anything specifically else that you wanted to see, Kayla?
I think that's it. I think that's what we were hoping for. Now I just got to, I'm working here at my desk. I need to show my dad and some other people here in the office. And we're going to try out some more phone calls and make sure we don't have internet connectivity issues in our area.
Okay. And then, oh, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, JohnMichael, is there anything else that we've kind of forgotten, or is there anything else you'd like to see, or not see, but do?
We talked a little bit about voicemail, but we didn't really, one thing we didn't really cover, Kayla, is that you are going to have not unlike the recorded call being attached, you are going to have the option in the near future to have that voicemail attached as well to the call and or in document management.
Okay, and can you include the transcriptions, or do you have to go grab those from your email and pull them back over?
I believe it just does the audio file. What's your thought on that?
For now, I've been told that we are, that's, because I was talking to Tony about that. Tony's kind of the gentleman over here, Kayla, that's been kind of spearheading this project with Niki and her people. But that's something that he said they are building into the integration, our teams together, actually having the transcription. It's not there quite yet, but I'm told it is on the horizon.
Yeah, and it is already available with Crexendo. So generally, if this wasn't even a factor, if we didn't even have Office Tools, when someone leaves a voicemail on your phone, it sends it to your email. And in that email, there's a WAV file attached to it, plus a transcription. So for myself, when I'm reading the transcription, and if somebody has an accent and I don't know quite what they're saying in there, I can just hit the play button and you can hear it better. So on the Crexendo side, yes. On the Office Tool side, that will be to come. All right. Okay, you could probably, we'll just end this recording and contact us if you have any questions.
Okay, could you send me
Kayla, what
I need to show anyone in my office?
I absolutely will. Let me let me do this. I'm gonna have, that way it's not on the recording, I'm gonna have Nikki email me your email address, and I'm gonna set you up on the portal because this audio file is probably gonna be, audio video is gonna be a little bit too big to email, so I'm gonna send it over to you on the portal. Okay, Kayla?
Sounds good.
All right. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
If you have any questions for me, Kayla, about the integration, something maybe you thought of that we didn't think of now, by all means, I'm JohnMichael. You can reach out to me with any questions you have.
Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.